Okay. All right. First of all, are there any additions to the agenda? Okay, shall we move then to approval of the minutes from the last meeting? Are there any changes or revisions? Okay, does somebody want to move to approve the minutes then?
I move to approve.
Jackie, okay, and second?
Second.
Luis, okay, thank you. Okay, and for officer reports, I of course have nothing. Does anyone else have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, Jeannie? Okay. All right, let's move on then to any CCS reports.
I have just a few updates. The first quick update is on RFID. If you find you're having any kind of trouble reading RFID tags from another location, open a help desk ticket. CCS can help you troubleshoot those issues. And the second update I have is just some member library updates. So many of you have probably already heard, but we have a new member library. Warren Newport officially became members of CCS in October. So CCS, Warren Newport, and Innovative are currently working on the library migration. Our plan is to time go live like we did with the Palatine Grayslake migration. So we are planning to time our offline period for the Labor Day weekend to coincide with holiday closures. We'll have more concrete ideas of dates later in the spring after we do that test data load. So more details to come in the following months. And then in addition to Warren Newport, governing board approved Mount Prospects membership at their January meeting. So Mount Prospects membership will be effective starting November 2023. With a target go live of fall 2024. So we've got 2 migrations lined up here. So Warren Newport is our 29th CCS library, and Mount Prospect will be our 30th member library. So we've officially hit the 30s. And that's all I had for updates.
Go unmute myself there. Okay. We obviously didn't have any old business, which is good. So I guess we're very efficient here. So let's move on to the new business. And Kim at Matt, sorry, Kim. She wanted to know if your library uses UPS or any other tracking when you send out your WorldShare OCLC items.
So Kim's not here, so I'm kind of stepping in for her. So no one else in our library uses the USPS tracking numbers. We're the only ones using them. We've sort of heard maybe the USPS was going to stop using tracking. So anyway, we track, we use a document like this, just with the USPS number, the state, city and state, so that if a library calls and says, hey, we didn't get your item, we can track it that way. Do any of you track using USPS tracking?
Round Lake does. And actually, we've been using those labels also for passports. So I found that out too, that the Round Lake Post Office told me that they're discontinuing that. They're phasing it out. So
Okay.
I'm also looking at other options, not just for OCLCs, but also for passports.
What other options have you found? Or are you just looking now?
I only found out yesterday. So
Okay.
what the post office told me is that you can do it through Click and Ship, which isn't a great option for us because we have a postage meter through FP.
What was that called?
We have FP Postal is what our postage meter is. So I'm going to see if there's a way to do tracking through them, but I haven't had a chance to contact them yet.
Okay.
We do not do any tracking here at Lake Villa.
And it says that Northbrook does it as well as Indian Trails. They put the tracking number in the notes of the request. and ELA does not track. Displays uses them and they keep tracking numbers in a spreadsheet. But I think more your question is a different source if the post office is doing away with it.
Right.
Yeah, we don't track either.
We don't either. We put our faith in our postal service.
It's, just to let me add something, whenever we've gotten material from governmental agencies, either in DC or Annapolis, they've specifically indicated that if we use the US Postal Service, they will never send us any material again. So it's interesting that government bodies do not rely on the Postal Service. They insist that we do UPS or FedEx or something. I mean, we've gotten these notes saying, do not use the United States Postal Service. Just a thought.
That's kind of interesting because passports too were required to track, which is also government. So yeah, and I've seen those OCLC requests as well that require tracking.
Mhm. Yeah, and someone did put about, Patty typed in about Pitney Bowes Cube. It will weigh the item, print labels and tracking numbers. And then there's software in Pitney Bowes, she says, that will track. And then Elliot said that they're getting their tracking directly from the Postal Service. So going in, so I wonder if that might be something that you'll have to do instead of having the sheets. Maybe you'll have to go in. You might want to contact the Postal Service and find out.
That's all really helpful. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. Any other comments on that? Okay, I guess then that we'll move on. I know Miko had a number of items, so take it away.
Thanks. I'm gonna start by sharing my screen for some slides. Okay. So the first thing, I just want to review our meetings for next fiscal year, which seems a little crazy to talk about now in February. But our next meeting in May is going to be the last meeting of our fiscal year. So this just means we need to start planning already for next year's meetings. So what's coming up in May? We will hold elections for new officers at the May meeting. Jeannie is our current vice chair / chair-elect. So she will move into the chair position starting in July. And that means we will need to fill new positions for a new vice chair / chair-elect and for a secretary. So to quickly recap officer responsibilities, as vice chair and chair-elect, it's a multi-year term. So you'll be serving 1 year as vice chair. At that time, your responsibilities will include filling in for the chair at meetings if they're unavailable. And then the following year, you will serve as chair. And as chair, you'll write up the agenda, send out meeting information through the listserv, and facilitate the meetings. Secretary writes up the minutes for the meetings. And when meetings are virtual, you have the benefit of access to meeting recording as you work on them. And I will say too, we have an officer orientation before the first meeting of the year. So we will review like what you need to do, when you need to do it, and all that sort of stuff. So you're not going in blind. So if you are interested, please reach out if you want any more information. I'm happy to share. So start thinking if you'd like to serve as officers next year. And then another thing we need to plan out is where we're going to be holding meetings. So I would like to plan for the ILL meetings to be a mix of virtual and in person. And here are my thoughts on virtual meetings. First of all, as we've seen just in the past couple weeks, the winter weather is unpredictable. If holding virtual meetings over the winter, we don't have to worry about bad weather or ice storms or snow or stuff like that. Virtual meetings also allow us to save gas and time. So like today we have a fairly light agenda. This just kind of saves us time from driving a potentially far distance for a relatively short meeting. Looking at our timestamps from our past year's worth of meetings, they usually last about 45 minutes to an hour. And this also means that they're more accessible, like staff can join and leave as they're able to, as opposed to like scheduling that time away from the library. So less time commitment. So with kind of those in mind, ILL Tech Group holds 3 meetings a year, August, February, and May. So based on kind of the seasons and the CCS project schedule, we're going to hold the August and the February meetings virtually. So August, even though it's good weather season, it's going to be like 2-ish weeks before the War Newport go live. So things are going to be a little nutso around here. So we're going to plan for that August and February to be held virtually. We will plan for May to be held in person. So that means we need to think about location. CCS will be moving into a new office space in June. So for those who have been to the CCS office space in Arlington Heights, you no longer have to try to navigate through that crazy maze of a business park that we are currently in. We've got a new office in a building in Lincolnshire. The address is up on this slide. And with the office, we have access to meeting rooms in the new office space. So for May, we have an option to hold meeting at the new office, or we have the option to go to a host library. So I know we have a lot of time to plan for this, but if there's interest in seeing the new CCS space, I just want to get that meeting reserved as soon as possible. So I'm interested to hear if you have a preference between coming to Lincolnshire for a meeting or going to one of your member libraries.
I'd
I
like
want
to
to see the new office.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Excellent. I haven't seen it yet. A couple of my colleagues here at CCS have, and it sounds like it's a really nice building. Some like nice walking paths around the space. So if people are interested, I will happily make that reservation for May.
It looks like in the chat, a lot of people are saying that
Oh.
they'd like to see the new office as well.
Hey, excellent. Okay, that makes it so easy. Thank you guys.
Could we just all chant new office, new office, new?
New office.
I don't hear anyone.
This gives Tony plenty of time to prepare for the goodies. He's bringing.
Oh, bingo. Yeah.
Jackie, I was thinking the same thing. Here comes chocolate. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And 3 times as many because it's a new office and we haven't seen each other for so long. So
I'm loving this. Okay, well, we have, put it on your calendars, guys, May 2024.
All right.
Yay. Great. Well, that was an easy discussion. I will jump into the next one, if that's okay. So the next thing I wanted to present to the group, I just wanted to give a quick review of the ILLiNet web report in case anyone here is new to doing the survey. So as we all know, a state library gathers statistics annually on statewide interlibrary loan and reciprocal borrowing. This year's survey is due March 31st. It collects data covering the fiscal year 2021 to 2022. CCS publishes a web report to help you complete the survey. This report will give you Polaris data for some questions. So wherever we can fill in data, we give those numbers. One thing to know, the web report automatically runs monthly, but the ILLINET survey covers a specific time frame. So to access the report with the same coverage date as the survey, you'll want to click Display Archive and then look for the report dated July 1st, 2022. And this way you'll get the report that covers the ILLINET period from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. And then real quick, what this report includes. Columns A and B will show you what the corresponding ILLINET question number is, which are from the sections on ILL requests and supplies. If there is data players can provide, column C will give you the number to enter or add to the survey response for that question. You'll also see that there's some lines that prompt you to reuse data from a different line. And that's just because there's some data ILLINET asks for that an ILS can't track. So we are just kind of using our best judgment here for what numbers to include. And then column D includes some more information about the number or the line in question. So here you'll see instructions on where you'll need to use OCLC data or where you'll need to add OCLC data to the Polaris data in order to answer the questions. And then, feel free. On the ILLINET survey, I believe they allow you to enter any kind of notes if you want to explain an answer or explain a number. So you can absolutely copy and paste these notes into the survey response if you need to. And then one question we frequently get about the ILLINET web report is why do the numbers on ILLINET web report not match up entirely with the other ILL related web reports? And the answer to this is related to the differences in what the reports are counting. So most CCS web reports are counting checkouts and or renewals. However, many questions in the ILLINET survey are looking for requests and supplies. So this is like how many non-local items are sent to your library for a hold and how many items you send to other libraries for holds. ILLINET does not care if these items were checked out or not, only if they were sent. So it's counting slightly different things. The ILLINET web report counts items sent or received versus intra-CCS loan, regardless if they were checked out or not. And that's the reason for a discrepancy between those report numbers. So I know many of you have done ILLINET for years. I know you're well versed in where to get information, but just wanted to give a quick refresher if anyone is new to ILLINET. Are there any questions or comments? I figured this group would have a handle on the report.
Hey,
Oh, you know what, Stephanie? You know what I completely forgot to do? I forgot to link our sign-in sheet into the
oh,
chat.
okay.
I'm going to do that right now. So if you have a moment, please enter your name next to your library. I will send this document out to the listserv after the meeting too, just in case you're not able to fill it out right now.
Okay.
And I think I've got the next couple discussion questions too. So the next couple questions are just general discussions, just gathering some information from our libraries. So the specific agenda topic is what web reports do you as ILL staff most often use? The context for this is we've been thinking about reports a lot here at CCS. We'd really like to bulk up our report documentation and have some like concrete recommendations that we can provide to new staff or new libraries that migrate into CCS. So I'm really interested in learning more about what reports you use, how often you use them, and whatever other information or details you have. And ILL is really unique here because you get so much data from another source, from OCLC. So I would like to know what other reports outside of OCLC that you use in your work. I primarily called out web reports on the agenda, but if there are other sources outside of web reports, I'd also like to hear about that. So would anyone like to start the discussion about what reports you use? Oh, and I can also share my screen if you'd like to have a visual of web reports as a reference. So just call it out if you'd like me to pull that up.
I use the weekly, the missing in transit. And then I can't think of what the other one is too, but I use those two and I try to do it weekly unless it's a super busy week, and then I'll get to it later. Oh, and unfillable holds.
Yeah, unfillable holds is a big one for me. Take care of that every week, make sure, yeah.
Amy?
We do unfillable holds and clean and unclaimed and item holds and missing in transit. And then for statistics, monthly stats by patron code, ILLINET, monthly ILL, monthly lent and borrowed ratio, monthly stats by item material.
For the unfillable holds report, do you automatically create like an interlibrary or convert those to interlibrary loan holds?
What I normally do is first I check to see, because sometimes the records aren't linked in catalogs. And so I try to make sure that there isn't an item that is available through CCS. And then when there's not, then I go ahead and then I do OCLC request for the patron. And then that causes mass confusion because then they're like, well, I didn't request this. And anyway, enough of that, but that's what I do.
I email the patron to see if they would still like a copy so that they're not confused. And so I'm not doing extra work if I don't need to.
By the time it gets there, they don't even want it. Yep, so that's what we do also, just like, you know, get in touch with the patron to make sure they still want the hold.
Same here at Lake Villa.
Same at Algonquin too.
Louise, did you want to say something?
Yeah, regarding the item copy holds, I've noticed that some libraries are placing item holds on our material. And yesterday, I found one that had been placed in December when there's multiple copies in the system, and that hold could have been satisfied a month ago. So I suggest people look at that item hold, you know, that report where item holds are placed on your material and why.
I think we run into that too, because I know that our reference librarians, if we happen to have the book in-house, they'll do an item hold, but I have been noticing an uptick from other libraries where they've placed a specific copy hold on our item. And I agree, because if it's not available, then that hold just sits there for that patron.
Exactly. Thank you.
Actually, one more note about that. Sometimes we've taken a screenshot of the item hold, so, and emailed it to typically you guys, so you see the name of the person who did the hold, and we'll say, please talk to your staff member about it. Do you want us to do that, or would you prefer we just let it go and they'll figure it out later when it's unfillable?
No,
We have constant reminders here about that very subject.
I think too, it gets difficult. I mean, I think that is a good idea to do that when you do get it, but then we have like a lot of turnover and sometimes in our circ department. And so sometimes they're the ones who happen to be placing the hold for the patron and they're not quite as trained on placing the holds. So I think that a lot of times that's where our errors take place.
I could see that. I think it's, especially when you're a new staff, I think it's very easy to get confused between placing a hold on the bib record and placing a hold on the item record. Because you can place a hold from both types of records, but if you place the hold from the item record, that's what results in that item level hold.
one thing you can let your staff know is that when they place the hold, the screen will pop up and there's a little black book that appears that the hold has been placed. If there's a little black book, it means that it's a copy hold. If there's no little black book, then it's a system hold. So that might be an easy way to alert your staff as to, wait until they see that the hold has been placed successfully. And if there's that little black book, they've done it incorrectly.
If somebody already mentioned this, I apologize. So does anybody do the item holds report in web report specifically for this?
Me.
Yeah, okay.
There's two sections of the report. One indicates your staff member who have placed copy holds. And then if you click over, it's other libraries who placed copy holds on your material.
Oh, question about the specific name for that report. Let me just pull it up real quick.
I think it's item holds.
It is item holds, just plain item holds under patron management, because
Right.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
I was curious. Because that just made me dive into our pick list, and we had an item level hold, but the request said it was placed by the patron. And so it's like, it was, oh, go ahead, Louise.
I'm sorry, that sometimes happens when they place their own hold and it's on a serial, let's say a travel book, and they want the specific, there's a way that you can fix that. And what I do when there's an item hold incorrectly placed for our patron or our patron has done it, I will not take that item hold out, but I will place a system hold and then create a group hold. Just in case that item hold comes in before the group hold comes in, before the system. So you can take those two holds once you placed them and create a group.
That's smart, because this example was for a TV series, a season, and it didn't specify the disc, but you assume they want the whole set. But yeah, I'm familiar with the grouping because of like Blu-rays and DVDs. It's like, if you don't care, then whatever's first.
Right.
But that's very smart. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other web reports that you use in your work that has not been mentioned? Or any reports outside of web reports and OCLC that be helpful to know about?
I just want to, I know I'm a Luddite, but I still do hash marks for the OCLCs, what's been requested and what's been sent out, especially I'm finding it necessary for periodicals. We do a lot of periodicals and both lending and borrowing. And so I find that if I do hash marks for when an article request is requested either as a borrower or lender, I hash mark that. And then I also will hash mark if we send it, because in the ILNET report, the annual report, there is an indication there that they want article non-returnables, they're called, either sent or requested or not, or and sent. So that's a Luddite speaking.
In WorldShare, there are reports that you can pull up and it
Yeah.
will give you the breakdown of what was a copy and what was, you know, so you can also get the number there as well.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie.
I think it's the borrower activity overview and then the
Mhm.
lending activity overview. And then you can go in and you can set your date to
Right.
match the ILNET report, and then it'll pull up that information for you.
Right.
I use the unclaimed report. It's the daily clean hold shelf report. And then I email you guys if something is unclaimed for over 15 days. Do you want me to continue to do that? Do you guys do that?
Our
what do I
circulation
do?
staff pulls that the report every day. They pull the items, the unclaimed, but I think it is helpful when you do send that, because a lot of times our patron may miss checking your item out. So I think it is helpful then to follow up with that patron.
That's great. Thank you.
I'm using from the Polaris. I'm using from the utilities in the Polaris, unclaimed every day.
Are there any other reports anyone uses before we move on?
Sure, this will be an ongoing conversation. So if something does come to mind, absolutely, just send me an email. Like I said, it would be a goal to be able to get some guidelines in place for everyone. So I have the next agenda topic as well, and another just kind of open discussion type thing. So I'm interested in learning about WorldShare features or tools that you would like to learn more about. So I think one of my kind of weak points here is understanding WorldShare, because CCS does not have our own WorldShare or OCLC portal or profile. So I would love to be able to identify some possible continuing education topics for ILL. I've casually been in touch with OCLC's continuing education office. So, you know, if from your perspective, if there is a feature or tool that you've seen mentioned, but you haven't like had the opportunity or time to dive in, I would love to know about it. Or if there's any features or tools that you've kind of picked up that you found helpful and think others would be interested in as well. Hearing this would definitely help, yeah, like I said, definitely help kind of figure out some possible continuing education events.
I would possibly like to learn more or anything about, I know when we send requests to other libraries and you get that auto deflection, how do you do that? Like if I would want to just say like our library doesn't lend new items and have it automatically do that. Is there a way to do that, and how do you do that? I've always
It's in
wondered.
your, it's in your settings in OCLC.
Okay, maybe we could get more info on exactly the settings, and
Mhm.
do other libraries use that auto deflection?
Yeah, yeah. I edited everything in OCLC in the settings where I said that we don't loan the new material. We right now do, but before that, yeah, you need to look at your settings where it's that's the page when your contacts and everything. You need to go to the OCLC policy directories, get your institution, and then when the settings, you can see everything and you can set that whatever you're not sending and make this auto deflection and save it. You just need to look. Yeah, Jackie,
You,
just need to
and
look.
you have to set it to each item, like books,
There is a
videos,
list of
music,
formats.
everything. There'll
yeah.
be a tag
Mhm.
for each of them.
Yeah, yeah. There would be coming on the screen, drop down menus and choose, and then you need to save, and then it will be reflecting. Yep.
So do most libraries use it, or do you just manually, like we just look at each review and or each request and individually say, no, we don't, like they have the drop down of why you're not lending something, and we click on too new to loan or whatever. That's what we do now. It's really not a huge deal, but do other libraries do that?
We do that.
Yeah, I do that too, but then I have like in my policy area, I put more notes. I don't deflect automatically, but I have like, will not, do not send all of our audio visual
yeah,
out of state, that type of stuff. But I have notes in those fields, so then they should be able to see it. But I think a lot of times they don't actually look at at your notes, what you have there. So they keep requesting it from you. And then I just do like it's too new or policy, just like you do, Jackie.
Yeah, we do the manual, too new to loan, because some things are too new, but some things are too new. So, we kind of look at each one kind of case by case. So, yeah.
And actually, it's kind of interesting to see what people are wanting out there. Like everybody wants the hot new books, and we don't loan. Yeah, so it's sort of interesting to see though what the requests are. So
The Mountain Is You is a big one we keep getting.
yeah,
Yes.
a few weeks back it was lessons in chemistry.
Right.
Of course, any Colleen Hoover.
And turtles all the way down about the vaccine.
I'm just curious to know with this group, how you would approach requesting 20 volumes of the same graphic novel title. I mean, is there an easy way to do that rather than one volume at a time? Or to search that, because I had that this past week, and not all libraries have the same ones, so I couldn't figure out a way to,
No, there's no
way.
I haven't found it, right, and I try not to do too many volumes to one library, because they may be missing volume 2 but have volume 1. So it almost saves time both for me and for the other library just to make 2 separate volumes. I mean, 2 separate requests.
Okay.
You could try also, if you wanted to, just put in the notes, do all 12 volumes request, and put in the notes saying, please send all 12 volumes, and see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mary Ellen wrote that they treat each request individually, and that's what we do. And we only actually allow up like 6 at a time for volumes because we only send 6 at a time from our collection. So we try to be consistent in that area. Are there, go ahead.
We've been getting a lot of requests for articles, both from mainly from our patrons. And one thing Amy and I have found is the information we get isn't always complete, you know, as far as number and volume and date. We use Google Scholar a lot by putting in the title of the article and the author, and it will give you the citation with all of that information, including the page numbers. So that's been helpful.
Yeah, and the other odd thing that we've been getting are for our DVDs, sometimes like everything's missing except the title. Does that happen to you guys sometimes? And you're wondering how that happens because it's pulling from your catalog, but is the requester on the other end, like removing that information? Not sure. And Elliot wrote that that usually happens mostly with Texas libraries.
I just wanted to mention one thing about what Louise was saying about using Google Scholar. The citations that you find there, they have multiple of the same citation written out. But Louise, what is it at the bottom? Is it British or Australian?
I don't know.
The citation that has the most information in it. It's the one at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not sure,
Okay.
but you'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
I want to say too, yeah, I've had in the last couple of weeks, this Texas library that keeps sending in a request with very little information, just like a title with nothing else, no ISBN number, no OCLC number. So I just have to say no, and we don't have any, it looks like a music CD, which we don't lend anyways, but that's interesting that you said Texas too.
I think there are small county libraries and everything with the very not enough educated staff who handles all those ILL requests and don't know exactly the details how to work it out.
We also just use OCLC. There's a way of requesting book clubs, multiple copies. That's really easy. You only have to do it once, you know, put the information in once, but you can get 10 copies of something, and that's really helpful for book clubs. It's helpful because you don't have to do those individually, and you don't have to ask the same libraries for the material.
Is that for your private book clubs or is that for your in-house book clubs that you do that?
Both. Our private book clubs are for Wilmette patrons only, and so we'll go for that. Yeah, we only do OCLC for our for Wilmette or Kenilworth patrons. But yes, it's for private book, mostly for private book clubs.
And then do you check it out to that group, all of those books, or do you check it out or say we have these books being held for your group and then the individual comes in and checks them out?
No, we've created a specific book club account, and with one person in charge that we contact, and when an item, this is for CCS as well as OCLC, all our private book clubs, which we're now doing 21 a month. But we create an individual account, the items are checked out to the discussion date. And then they stay that way. The book club can decide either to have individuals come in and take a copy, but they don't recheck them out, or the coordinator comes in and takes all of the copies. But it's checked, the item is checked out immediately to the discussion date, which eliminates a lending library from saying, why hasn't this been checked out? Did that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
And I believe several years back, we did at a CCS meeting, Miyako, we did a little demo on doing multiple requests through OCLC. So that might be something to do again for newer people, because that is a nice thing to do. So you don't have to do one request at a time through OCLC.
You can also do that through CCS too.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
multiple copies.
Yeah, we do that.
And it sounds like with OCLC, you can do the multiple copies on a single title, but then when it comes to those volume holds, you have to do a volume at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then Patty also said that they do the same thing with one member being the leader for the group, and then they check the items out with their book clubs as well.
Another thing with book clubs that you might check, when a book club comes into us and asks for a book like Lessons in Chemistry, I often will go to the holds queue, both suspended and or paused and active, and you can see if another library has already requested multiple copies for a book club, and that's why it's important to put the date in for the discussion date, because you can then tell your book club you're not going to get it until next November, or something like that. So it's helpful to use that hold queue also.
It sounds like, would it be helpful for people if we did like maybe a discussion sometime where some people who are very experienced in the book clubs, like take a step-by-step through how to do this? If anyone's interested in that.
That would be.
That would be interesting. Yes, very.
I would love to see the OCLC side of things.
Okay, maybe our really experienced people like Louise that maybe Wilmette and maybe Patty, that you guys might want to put together something for us for our next meeting where we could see that. Would that work for you guys?
I would like to defer to Patty or Amy, because I'm not very good at putting things together for on Zoom. I really am a Luddite,
Mhm.
But so if Patty or Amy want to get together and do that, that would be great,
And any other library that handles a lot of book clubs. I mean, here we have a couple people that come in, but we buy the books and have those available for our patrons. So we usually don't request them. We have a couple teachers who do ask for some books for their students, but overall, we definitely don't do it on the level of a lot of you guys.
We're also doing a lot of placing book clubs for schools. They've gotten involved with that too. So teachers are asking for multiple copies of a book to have in discussion in classrooms. So yeah, as I said, we're doing 21 book clubs a month, adult book clubs a month, not counting the in-house ones.
Wow. Yeah, and Patty said that she would be happy to work with you, Amy, if you want to.
Yeah.
You guys want to get
I could do
together?
that.
Perfect.
That would be wonderful. Since this May's meeting will be virtual, we can give you access, like share your screens if you were able to like demo on OCLC or however you wanted to do it. So that would be fantastic.
I think we should make sure that Louise handles that part of it.
You'll get no
Just kidding.
information from me. Sorry.
Posters.
Right. Cue cards.
Just kidding.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm still doing hashtag, daily hash marks for statistics. So I'm sorry. I'm the wrong generation.
I sharpen my pencils a lot too, so don't worry. You're not the only one.
Thank you. I take no offense.
None intended.
I know.
Would, so if we have a quick demo on making multiple requests in OCLC hashtags, would someone be interested in doing a demo on auto deflection in OCLC for the May meeting?
Louise, right? I mean,
Thanks, Tony.
We do not have the auto deflection, but what about Glenview? Would you be interested in doing that since you guys, I don't know if anyone else uses the auto detection?
I did this like 5 years ago when in 2016 or 17. I don't even remember because I was just starting and that's what we were setting. And I just 6 months ago maybe edited because we started giving out new materials even to OCLC. I just edited the comments. But speaking of auto deflection, and in all honesty, we're crazy busy with the passports now so much that you can't even imagine.
Okay.
Because we all do it, we all, including me and training and everything. And it's also we're doing notaries, me including, and we just, I'm just hardly catching up with work after work, actually.
Okay. Well, I can look in to try to figure out how to do it. I'd be happy to.
And Stephanie, we can just contact with each other if anything, and
Okay.
I look too, because we know each other kind of by the notes and everything, and by face and by location. We'll just contact and we'll see.
Okay. And I think I have some poster boards left over from my kids from high school. So be prepared and I'll do my presentation that way.
You
Some
get your
markers.
poster
Oh boy, sorry. It's Thursday. Anyway.
You're lucky, dear. You don't have 6 passports to do.
Yes,
Or
luckily.
7 with the pictures, which I'm I'm not gonna do all of them, but that's what I'm saying. Right now, we are just buried under the 9 appointments for the passports and everything, and just
Oh wow.
new thing completely.
Okay. Is there anything else, Miko, that you wanted to add?
Let's see. We did get a chat here with a question. How are folks enabling patrons to place borrowing requests? I'm told we use this online form that simply sends staff an email. And then link to the form. Is everyone using just a web form that sends an email for the new ILL requests? Does Polaris not offer a module to triage incoming ILL requests? So I can answer about the Polaris integration side of things. There is an integration where we can set up like a follow-on searching in the Power Pack. So if a Power Pack search gets 0 results, patrons can then say, look at World Share, World Cat results, and it will pull those into the pack. However, with the current data that is being transferred between Polaris and OCLC, it's incredibly minimal. It does not transfer like the OCLC number. It does not transfer much of the patron information. So for some materials, particularly AV, all you get is a title. So CCS's recommendation is that we do not enable that integration because in testing, it creates more work for the library. So they have to like backtrack, go back to patron, see what did you actually want.
We have a link on our when they go through our catalog that if the item's not there, then they can search and then they place their hold that way, and then it goes to the reference desk to their mailbox, and that's how they do it. And Patty said the same thing, that they have a link to WorldCat on their website. So you might want to double check, I guess, at Evanston to see if there might be some link through your catalog that you might be able to search that.
Yeah, we have a link on our website. That's what we have.
That's how we do it too.
And Algonquin also has a link on their website.
Is the link just for them to get information to then contact us to place the hold, or are they placing the OCLC through the link in the website?
We actually place the hold for them, so they're just sending the request. Thank you. They're just sending the request, and then it's handled at the reference desk. It's submitted then through the YAL.
Thanks.
We review it, they send in, it goes through the request, and then I see it on my OCLC WorldCat page under the review. Then I see it, and then I review it and put it through and put the hold on their account. So that sometimes is confusing for the patron, because then they think that when they went onto that link and did it, it did it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's so, yeah, we review it before we actually send it through WorldCat.
Like Indian Trails also sees it on their OCLC page. Northbrook has links on their website.
Are there any other anything anyone else wants to talk about, or does that answer most questions? Okay, I guess then we can adjourn the meeting. So would anyone like to motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to
motion.
adjourn.
Okay.
Okay, and second it. Okay, sounds
Okay.
perfect. All right, great. Well, then our next meeting is in May, so I'm sure that we won't be talking about ice storms then. And we look forward to seeing everyone in May at 9:30. It's great seeing everyone.
Bye.
Good to see everyone. Bye.
Bye.